Karens. You know these people. The ones who have had everything handed to them on a silver platter their entire life, yet want to throw women's suffrage in all of our faces. Women's suffrage is over. Men's slavery is alive today. Female slavery is also very alive today. Slavery is still one of the major factors that helps to decide every one of our decisions. Isn't that amazing? Alright, so we got a bunch of womansplaining Karens that, of course, they want to blame everything on men. Everything is men's fault, and we owe them for being born female, somehow. I don't see how that is, since we already pay everything to women anyway. Women make 80% of the buying decisions in this country, although they earn only about half of the money. I say about half because they actually earn less than half because they work an average of 7 hours less overtime per week. That's average. How many men out there do you know that got a 4-hour gas station job? They work maybe 4 hours a week, or maybe 2 days a week, 4 hours each. And even with all the guys who have jobs like that, men still work an average of 7 hours of overtime per week more than women. Then let's talk about how 90% of the women in colleges right now are there on grants that men are not eligible for, just because of the gender they were born with. Now, it's one thing to make things equal, make it so that women have the same opportunities as men, but here's the thing, women have more opportunities than men. They also have the easiest time destroying another person's life because they didn't get what they wanted. Some of the meanest, most cruel stuff that I've ever seen in my life came from women, or from the men that they were dating. Because a man is expected to protect his woman. And how many of y'all women play on that? Oh, well, I can do anything wrong that I want because I'm hooked up with a bully. And he'll go hurt people for me if I ask him. And how many of you play on that and prey on that? How many of you, when your ex ends up getting the kids because you're a shitty parent, how many of you will go out with a drug-dealing idiot who uses his own product just because you know he's dumb enough that he'll go do something to your ex? When it comes to being vindictive, we teach women that it's okay for them to be vindictive and hateful. Well, that's a shit-eating grin. Let me guess, your teeth are brown. I'm looking at that big dipstick right there in your lip. I don't know about all that. Still trying to get people to understand that I can't just waste my time every day waiting on people to show up and keep their word when they don't. I'd love one, but I'd love for people to understand the English language too.
I don't.
You certainly do. You just don't hear it most of the time because you got your own internal monologue.
No, I'm busy.
Well, that too. Well, I'm busy too. And if I could make money, I would be. But it takes a little bit of help. There's things I'm not able to do.
I know. I have to unload.
Oh, Jesus. Destruction. Yes.
This is just the top guy. You see the red?
Yeah.
all that red is good.
Yes, that's what this replaces. Yes. Then it's not a big bother. It's the problem with people just want to keep talking instead of getting on it.
I'm too busy.
I know. Get back to work, you spineless runt of a man.
I still have to go back to Dallas. Today. Go back to your normal laundry. Car wash.
How many more loads of the corrugated shit you got? The last one?
Yeah. We'll go on load this shit and go back to Dallas.
Well, I'm not going to apologize for having a fucked pack.
It's only 9 power drive with no metal inside. The metal in the back is like power in 5 minutes. Fucking go down the corner.
I got to go to see a doctor in Portland sometime, but I need someone to go with me.
Why don't you do that dial ride?
No, that's not the point. It's not about getting a ride there. It's about someone going with me.
But the dial ride, if you have an appointment, it's only $1.
The problem is that I still need someone to go with me.
I know, but $1 is cheap when you drive your car. So.
Yes,
I don't know if you knew about the dial ride.
No, I didn't, but I assumed they had something like that around here.
Alright, I'll catch you later.
Well, at least I got a cigarette. That corrugation, it's for the metal awning they have over there. Not that I've got any construction experience. A lot of the buildings around here, I can tell approximately when they were made based on the way that they were made. A lot of this shit's prefab. That means prefabricated. One of the easiest things for you to get prefabricated, just so you know, walk-in freezers. You can always get a disassembled walk-in freezer for free. There's always some place that's getting it torn down, and then walk-in freezers are a pain in the ass to try to recycle because it's multiple layers of stuff that's glued on top of other stuff. It's all pretty lightweight, but it's corrugated crap glued to styrofoam crap that's glued to backing crap that's glued to foil crap that's glued to another piece of corrugation crap that's glued to a piece of white plastic. It's all glued together with little posts going through it every so often. It gets so expensive trying to get rid of those that a lot of times people will disassemble an entire building and leave that on a job site up to a year with a sign on it that says free. I have to pretend everything's okay, and I have to work on trying to communicate effectively. But people keep on putting a wrench in the works, throwing a cog in the gears, derailing the train by talking. If they don't even care enough to find out what you're going through, they don't care about you. I've said a lot of mean things about people that are absolutely true. What is it that makes them mean? It's the fact that they feel insulted by it. When it comes to autism, we have to deal with a lot of your assumptions. Doesn't matter that your assumptions are wrong. What matters is that you think that you're right. You've got this thing in your head that tells you that because somebody's wired differently, then it means that they're broken. Their wiring is not correct. I disagree. A lot of people want to help conceptually, and they're having the same issues as you in many cases. But rather than help you to do something about it and working on theirs as well, doing something to change it, they want to talk about their problems just to talk about them. Are we going to work together to put a stop to it, or are you just bitching to bitch? Are you doing anything about it other than complaining? Are you working together with the victims? Or are you talking over them about your stuff? There's a lot of people here I am angry with, and I'm allowed to be angry with. It's not wrong for a man to be angry. We get to hear women expressing not just anger, but outright hatred towards everything with a penis. Trying to pretend that we're all horrible monsters. Well, you know what? I don't want to be anywhere near any woman because of that. It is unsafe for men to be around women. It is unsafe for us. It is unsafe for us to go to the gym. It is unsafe for us to go to a bar. It's unsafe for us to even cross a parking lot. It is unsafe for us to tell a woman that she dropped something, and it is now unsafe for us to even hold open a door for a woman. So I say she can get the door herself. Feminists are making it bad for y'all. They have a special expectation of what men owe them, but they feel that they don't owe anything. We have taught rampant and blatant sexism to both boys and girls in this country, and now we're paying the consequences. You know how much money it takes to put a woman through college for a year? By the way, 18% of women in college are what's called professional students. What does it take to qualify as a professional student? It means that you have all sorts of money thrown at you that allows you to go to college and just take course after course, usually the easy ones and the electives. You don't really end up with a degree at the end of it. You basically just keep on riding college. There's one woman, she got 7 degrees. 7 degrees by the time her first child turned 18. Got an additional 9 before her second child turned 18. That's because some of those electives and some of those courses are required for more than one degree. Some of those math courses are required for more than 1 degree. Some of those electives are required for more than 1 degree. But once you've got them underneath your belt, well, then you have that credit that applies towards another degree. So it's actually easier the longer you are in college to get degrees for less. It costs $100,000 a year. Sorry, $120,000 a year on the cheap side for a cheap community college for you to be a full-time student. The reason this is because it's taking care of your housing. It's taking care of your tuition. It's even helping to take care of your kids. Now, where the average income for a male is only $49,000, and it's costing $120,000 for you to go to school for a year, that's about Well, not quite 2.5. It's about 2.25 men working full time, not spending any money on themselves. No money for medical insurance, no money for gas, no money for food, no money for any of your bills, not spending a single penny of their money, giving it all to you. It takes 2.25 men for you to go to school for 1 year. 2.25 men have to work full time for absolutely free in order for you to be able to do that. Now, how horrible is it for me to say just men? How is not horrible for me to point out that there's women who are contributing to this too? Well, they absolutely are. Women absolutely are contributing to this. Primarily poor women. Primarily poor men. Our entire infrastructure runs off of poor people. Poor people going to work. Poor people who don't get the benefits. Poor people paying for a space program and we don't get the benefits. Poor people paying for machinery in hospitals but we don't get the benefits. Poor people paying the government to give out grants for research that doesn't benefit the poor. Meanwhile, we're told that we're not giving enough, that all men owe women for making bad decisions because, contrary to popular belief, a man does not get to decide who he dates. That is a woman's decision. She gets to decide whether or not she says yes or no. She gets to decide whether she turns down the chat or gives him a go. How many of the women that I know had guy friends that were really very nice people, but they wouldn't date those nice guys? They were only interested in the bad boys. How can I tell she's pregnant in most cases? Because she's not interested in the bad boys anymore. Now all of a sudden she's running around to all the nice guys that she knows pretending she's interested in every one of them. What are the chances she's pregnant? Pretty good. What are the chances she's going to try to keep it? Well, here's the thing. If she didn't want to keep it, she wouldn't be shopping for a new boyfriend. What she's doing is shopping for a daddy who's actually daddy material. I've been in that selection process before and dipped the hell out for good reason. If you pay attention to your surroundings, you do a lot better. If you pay attention to the current political climate and the opinions people are throwing out there, it's not difficult to tell where America's going as a country. There's a lot of people who are dead because I was not heard. I was not heard because women have all the control in this country. If women don't want you to be heard, all they have to do is slander your name and you won't be heard. You're no longer a human being to the rest of society. You're just a monster. Meanwhile, if you're autistic, you've got to deal with the fact that our advocacy places, like Autism Speaks and Autism, My Piece of the Puzzle, are anti-autistic places. Their money doesn't go towards helping autistic people or helping people to understand autism. It goes towards trying to cure autism. The way that they tried to cure homosexuality. Now, why is it that you don't try to cure black people that way? Black people were born black. How is it you don't tell them, oh, well, you know, if you tried harder to be white, you'd probably fit in better. You know, if you tried harder to be white, police would probably shoot you less. You know, if you took some medications to make you white, you'd probably have a lot less problems. You know what your problem is? Your problem is that you just don't want to take pills. You just don't want to take your meds. You know, it's not all of us. It's not our fault that you're still black because you won't take your meds. Hold on a second. You really think that medications are going to make somebody not black? You really think that medications are going to make someone not gay? You really think that medications are going to make somebody not autistic? And then you want to talk to us like we're the idiots. Does BLM stop to recognize that we do not choose this? BLM didn't care that Elijah McClain was autistic. They wanted to focus on what part? His skin color. Because nobody cares about the homeless. Nobody cares about the disabled. Right now, the current political climate means that we have to care about black people. But also, the current political climate that makes it so we have to be afraid of black people also means that we have to be afraid for black people. The same as I have to be afraid of Robert Farnsworth, I also have to be afraid for Robert Farnsworth. Not only that, but history has shown me to be right. How many people has Robert Farnsworth been violent with? Just on video with me, at least 3. How many people have come up to me to tell me that Robert Farnsworth got beaten up again? Almost half a dozen. Robbie Farnsworth does have mental issues that get him hurt and get others hurt. He's one of those violent schizophrenics you guys pretend that I am. I'm angry. You're damn right I'm angry. But I have every right to be. What I'm seeing out here is not humanity. It's Nazism for profit. What's the difference between modern America and Nazi Germany? In Nazi Germany, people were put into forced labor camps and extermination camps. In America, we're put into forced labor camps. And of course, our extermination camps, our version of extermination camps, is to fleece the American public out of their money to lock up anybody who stands up to the government. God bless America, right? Let's make sure we plug this in. Now, when it comes to all of these man-haters wanting to blame all men, they speak up about the fact that women are more likely to commit sexual crimes against children. They want to fess up to the fact that women in professional capacities are more likely to molest a child than men in those professional capacities. A woman will get an average of 8 months in prison. Will probably serve it in a local jail. One of the things that we use against men all the time, more men in prison for molesting children than women. Well, that's easy to do, and the average amount of time that a man spends for that is 16 to 40 years, depending on what state you're in. 16 to 40 years. Meanwhile, a woman who gets pregnant from an underage child, the most recent 3, served less than a month in jail, less than a month behind bars, and 2 of them were pregnant. What do we do with women who do these things? We blame it on men and say that it's men's fault. It's men's fault that you to try to draw attention to yourself so that you can get the attention of a superficial man. And then you pretend all men are superficial. You expect a man to buy everything on a date because it's traditional, but then you don't want women to have to live up to traditional anything. Many of the women I know are even mean to other women who don't do what they want. Oh, well, you know, if you're attracted to that guy, it means that you hate all women because you're attracted to that guy. Really? You have no idea how many women I know who have talked a woman out of dating a decent guy and tried to pawn her off onto some jerk because he's good looking. And how many of these women get onto each other's YouTubes and Facebooks and type to each other how pretty they are? Why is pretty so important? Why is that the number one compliment that you're going to give to other people? Is their looks. The best way to protect yourself from women is to get away from them and stay away from them. The best way for you to protect yourself from women is to not help them. Don't get the door for them, they can get it themselves. If they're struggling with their groceries, they can get it themselves. If they're struggling with their tire, they can get it themselves. Men are 5 times more likely to be the victims of a violent crime at night. Just so you know, rape is considered a violent crime. Also, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but in over 50% of all murders, over 50% of the time, the person who was murdered was drunk. Over 50% of the time, the person who killed them was drunk. In most of those occasions, it was over a woman. Most of them. Such as people like Haley Smith, who could have simply left Dino alone and let him leave. But no, she didn't want to. She wanted to jump on his vehicle and throw herself in front of his vehicle so he couldn't leave. So Brian Farmer and Jared Wallace and one other individual decided that they were gonna bully Dino because Haley was drunk and being stupid and mean. And they were both drunk and being stupid and mean. Dino just wanted to get the hell out of there and get away from Haley. What ended up happening? Brian Farmer and Jared Wallace both ended up dead. Thank goodness Dino protected himself. Unfortunately, he's spending more time in prison for defending himself against 4 predators if you count Haley Smith. 4-on-1. But then again, Dino's brown. Jared Wallace and Brian Farmer, both white guys. By the way, that happened at Pierre Byron's house. Dino shouldn't have gone to prison. It's unfortunate that Brian Farmer was being an idiot because he was drunk. It's unfortunate that Jared Wallace was being an idiot because he was drunk. It's unfortunate that Haley Smith was being an idiot because she was drunk. Not that you noticed, but most of the drama in a man's life comes from women who expect things and will harm you if you don't give them what they want right when they want it. My stepdad, Scott, he was an electrician in Chapel, Nebraska. My mom, no matter what Scott did, it was wrong. Oh, we don't have enough money. You need to go out and get a better job. So he'd get a better job. Oh, well, you're not spending enough time home with me, so you need to quit your job. And then, oh, you're not making enough money. You need to go out and get a better job. Oh, you're not spending enough time at home. You need to quit your job. My poor stepdad, like a fucking yo-yo, back and forth, back and forth. How do you avoid situations like that? Well, it kind of helps to have honest friends. Big Jason Jeffson, that's Gary Jeffson's son, one of them. When he was married to Brandy Fish, she was strung out on methamphetamines. Jason doesn't touch meth. She was hanging out with little Jason Jeffson and a few other people that were really into meth. We know what happened with little Jason Jeffson. He tried killing his ex-wife while she was barefoot and pregnant out on a farm miles out in the country. Was literally shooting at his wife. Yep, because he was strung out on meth. And Brandy Fish was stealing from her husband and going and selling, like, his computer. She sold his computer to a woman named Crystal and her boyfriend, Tom Nelson. Jason come up to me one day. He said, Sean, somebody's stealing all my stuff. If you can find out who stole it, I'll give you $200. Well, when I found out who was stealing it from him, and I went and let him know, did he give me the $200? No, he didn't. But it wasn't about the $200. It was about being loyal. It was about being honest and forthright. And that's what I chose to be. As soon as I let Jason know, he went over and he talked to Tom and he talked to Crystal. Found out I was telling the truth. But yeah. And then he went over and he impounded her car since he was paying for it. He told her she could have her stuff. He wasn't going to fight her over any of her stuff, and she could have all of her stuff. Later on that night, she came and asked me out. You know what I told her? I said, hey, I'm the one that told you, or I'm the one that told Jason that you were the one selling his stuff. I'm the one that told on you. You're damn right I did. It was the right thing to do. I wasn't going to let her run my friend's life into the ground. Big Jason Jeffson had always tried to be good to me. There's a couple of situations where he didn't understand what was going on and he did hurtful things. But that's because of his assumptions, not because of who I chose to be. When a woman doesn't get what she wants, she'll go manipulate other people into doing it for her. My mom was real fond of trying to bully me into doing things that she wanted and sending other people over to bully me into doing it. Try to send over my older brother or Jeff Witcher. The thing is, I'm tired of being told that it's my fault that you make bad decisions in dating. And I'm tired of being treated like, because I'm not interested in sex, that I must be some pervert. Or because I have Tourette syndrome, that I'm some sort of creeper. Or because I have PTSD, I'm some sort of a creeper. Or because I'm bald, I'm some sort of a creeper. Because I'm not over 6 feet tall, I must be some sort of a creeper. Because I don't have any money, I must be some sort of a creeper. I can't even look up in somebody's direction without having to be worried that some woman is going to pretend that I am eyeballing her sexually because I glanced in her direction. The best way for men to be safe from women is to exile all women from our places of safety. Just as they are asking to be done with us. Yes, we need a place where we are safe away from women, away from their drama, away from the trauma that they create. We need a place where women are not allowed to interact with us. I already understand that I'm not 6 feet tall. I don't have a giant penis. I'm also not interested in sex. And I'm tired of being treated like just because I was born with a penis, that it means that I want to rape women. Because that is disgusting of you to even try thinking like that. Meanwhile, men think about sex a lot less than you believe we do. We're too busy trying to make you happy to think about sex. We just want to go home with Holy Christ.